Hello everyone, welcome to From the Star Wars Home Video Library. I'm your host Nathan P. Butler. This time we circle back to something that we've seen recently to see something similar but not exactly the same, continuing a pattern we've seen in the past. You may recall that fairly recently we did another deep dive into those Star Wars lightsaber toys that came with Star Wars DVDs. We looked at the 2004 lightsabers that included the first version of the bonus lightsaber action DVD. We looked at the second version of that, included with some lightsabers, those ultimate lightsabers that you put together for 2005. We took a look at the 2006 release, and we took a look at the 2007 release. We've seen all those had those bonus lightsaber action DVDs in them, whether the discs were changing or not, the packaging kept changing and that sort of thing. We also found that after a brief respite in 2008 that doesn't seem to have had any new DVD releases packed in with lightsaber toys, we were back with that same type of thing in 2009 and 2010 with the ones for the Clone Wars. It's actually the ones back here on the shelf where they all included those small, or some of them, some exclusive versions of them, include those little mini DVDs of Star Wars lightsaber battles. And the assumption was that's probably it, right? That's 4 releases for the bonus lightsaber action DVD, 2 releases for lightsaber battles, basically every year except 2008 in a stretch between 2004 all the way up to 2010 had one of these things. Surely that was it. Turns out, no, that wasn't it. Or should I say, no, there is another. Of course, I say that singular, there may be even more for all I know at this point. Now, the story of this item actually sort of ties into something I bought years ago. Back in 2009 or so, I bought this thing. This is the Hasbro Signature Series, right? The adult collectibles. It is what they called at the time the Anakin Skywalker lightsaber, which before that could be called the Luke Skywalker lightsaber, which now I guess would be called the Rey lightsaber, etc., etc. But it's basically that Force FX lightsaber collectible from Hasbro Signature. This thing's kind of nice. I've taken out the batteries at this point, and unfortunately, this thing's been sitting out on display for years at an old apartment and then at our house. So we've had some issues with battery acid from old batteries that I just didn't take out, but not very much damage from that. But the rubber pieces here as part of the hilt here at the base, it's just starting to get all sticky and degrade, right? So this one I'm probably not going to hang on to. But for the time, it's pretty sweet. This was metal. It's a good solid replica of the lightsaber. You didn't use this to activate, you clicked this to activate. It had the bzzz and the sounds and everything, although they seemed a little out of sync, like you go hit and then they go bzzz, like bzzz, bzzz, instead of bzzz, like right as you're hitting it. But nice. You know, I kept this out as sort of a display piece on top of some basically DVD towers in our living room for years. But back then, this cost a pretty penny, relatively speaking. I mean, it wasn't as much as some of the previous replicas were, but I want to say this is probably around $100 or something like that, which at the time, for something you were going to actually go out and use, you were going to leave as a display piece, was kind of a take it or leave it type of price. I actually think I showed you this way back when on the show, and I may have actually shown you this in comparison when we took a look at the Jedi Challenges lightsaber controller that's this hilt all over again. But for its time, I thought this was a pretty sweet collectible, but it just sat around gathering dust and apparently degrading over time without really having much use for me. Well, fast forward just a short time to 2011, the year after the last of those Lightsaber Battles mini DVDs were included with lightsaber toys, and we had a cool new product come out through Hasbro. Not Hasbro Signature, just marketed as a regular toy, that was very similar to that type of lightsaber. It was called the Ultimate FX lightsaber line. Okay? Looking at the front here, it says, "Try me. Push button to ignite the blade." See the handle through here so you can actually press the button to ignite it. Anakin Skywalker in this case, Ultimate FX lightsaber. 3 batteries needed. This does say batteries included this time. Okay. Alkaline batteries recommended, blah, 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 blah. Phillips head screwdriver needed to replace the batteries, blah, 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 blah. Hasbro symbol here. But as you're looking at this, you're seeing the blade. Think of this kind of as they took the same general design and principle as that higher end collectible from the Signature series, and now it's plastic instead of metal, but still formed in a similar way. It actually means it's not going to degrade on the bottom, which is nice. It's not rubber. A similar blade on here, similar sound effects and whatnot. So it looks cooler than those telescoping blades, or telescoping blades, whatever you want to call them, however you're supposed to say that word, on those other collectibles we've looked at. Has all the sound effects and everything, looks pretty cool. And of course, in doing so, had to have a bigger package here because it's not going to telescope out. It's all one piece. And up at the top, there's Anakin there, ages 6+, and a product number, Star Wars The Clone Wars. And here we go. Includes Force Tech Training DVD. Yes, another mini DVD. And in this case, it is inside here, and it's a pain in the ass to get to if you don't want to rip this packaging apart. It's basically the disc jacket with the disc on top of it, inside molded plastic that is part of the plastic part that is behind everything that's inside here. So you have to kind of go in and just very carefully cut atop the plastic to be able to pull the disc and jacket out to be able to take a look at it while still leaving it a decent display piece. Kind of a pain in the ass, but worth it, I guess. The top is just the little piece that it hangs from. The bottom allows you to have the sound come out when you're playing around with it in the store. Contains small parts, so not for children 0 to 3. Legalese and whatnot. Made in China, DVD made in Hong Kong. Little product number type thing there. The side, Star Wars The Clone Wars, Anakin Skywalker Ultimate FX lightsaber, Hasbro symbol. You can see here the way that it's set up so you can get to the hilt and push the button and everything, just like with what we saw on some of those previous ones from 2009 and 2010. The other side is effectively the same. And then the back here, we have, look for this other awesome Star Wars Ultimate FX lightsaber, each sold separately. Darth Vader. Visit StarWars.Hasbro.com, StarWars.com, Hasbro. Legalese kind of stuff over here. Looks and feels just like a real lightsaber. Spoiler alert, there's no such thing as a real lightsaber, but looks and feels like the lightsaber in the movies? Sure, I'll give you that one. And running across the bottom, we have bright glowing blade, battle clash lights and sounds, power activation humming sound, motion sensor controlled sound effects. Ooh. Over here, power up and power down light effects. Over here, arm yourself with the ultimate weapon of power and skill. Battle the Jedi or the Sith with this extraordinarily realistic lightsaber. Ignite the fight. Not sure you're supposed to do that if you're a Jedi. Don't ignite the fight. Right? Don't start the fight, but always finish it. Your UPC there. Get you a good look there of what the product is going to look like that is inside here. But yes, in 2011, this Ultimate FX lightsaber, as opposed to the Ultimate lightsaber that's now sitting on a shelf over here for me, very close to the ceiling here, that we looked at from 2005, where you build your own saber. This was much more like those Force FX sabers, just done with lesser expensive materials to be able to be put out at a lesser price. I want to say these were going for about 30 or 40 bucks, give or take, back then. But what we care about is the fact that some of these, but not all of them, came with that Force Tech Training mini DVD. So what is it and what's on it? Getting into it, like I said, kind of rough. I have to take the top piece here and not mess up little hanger piece very carefully. Okay, the hanger piece is actually a piece by itself. Then you have your instructions for the item, and you can kind of see down in here that you got a plastic piece covering the tip of the saber. So you're going to have to pull that out as well. There we go. And then there you go. See, there's the disc. And you get this layer of plastic here that's attached that you'd have to rip up to get to it. Instead, I took a small knife to the edge so I can pull the plastic up a little bit and pull them out to be able to show you here. The lightsaber itself can be moved around inside the packaging. It just sort of fits into a nice little slot there. It's just the fact that moving it around doesn't actually do you any good when it comes to actually getting the DVD out. All right, so disc is out. You can see there that kind of molded piece that it sits in with its jacket underneath it. But then the actual jacket, this here, I've smudged it a little from, trying to rub it against that plastic and trying to get it the heck out of there. It says Star Wars. I knew it. I knew it'd be on here somewhere. DVD is not a toy. No shit, Space Sherlock. Adult supervision required. Content included is TV PG. Approximate running time 14 minutes. Language included English. Force Tech Training. Hasbro. And Force Tech Training with Anakin. For promotional use only, not for sale, rental, unauthorized, blah, 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 blah. Copyright date, DVD made in Hong Kong. Okay? You can put the disc in here if you want, but it's not in it in the actual packaging, so I have not. And then here's your mini DVD. Hasbro at the top. Force Tech Training. Jedi symbol there. Star Wars underneath. Lots and lots of legalese around it. And reflective. It's basically just reflective with black for the words and the images and everything here. And it's just a little mini DVD, just like lightsaber battles. So what exactly is on it? Basically, it's a program that runs about 15 minutes that's sort of a clip show type of thing with some original content thrown in, kind of like that Bounty Hunters thing we saw back with some of the other toys, where it's basically Obi-Wan narrating a training video, in essence, called Star Wars Force Tech Training. Now, what's a little weird about that is it's done as if this is an in-universe training type of video that's being done by Obi-Wan. Except when he welcomes you to Star Wars Force Tech Training. Not Force Tech Training, which might make sense in-universe, maybe. But Star Wars Force Tech Training, breaking the fourth wall and naming the series. A little bit odd. And this is James Arnold Taylor, not Ewan McGregor, of course. So you get into this, and it's basically a 15-minute stretch where these different characters are showing attack moves, 2 per character. So, for instance, first it's Anakin Skywalker, right? So Anakin comes out, and it's got like a profile image, right? So part of the screen is this thing that almost looks like a holodeck type grid with a really, really bad character model of Anakin from the Clone Wars in it. I think it's probably the character model they actually use for the animatics, not actually, or the story reels, so to speak, not for the actual episodes, of course, themselves. So pretty ugly looking Anakin. But on the side, it gives like a species, a height, and a weapon type here. So human, blah, 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 blah. And it's like Obi-Wan saying, now Anakin's going to show us this type of move. And he does the move in that weird animatic looking window. Except then it cuts away to show a clip from the Clone Wars series. And the clips, by the way, are all in the widescreen format of the season sets. So the theatrical style widescreen, not the 16:9 of their original airing, which is nice. The entire thing is a DVD though, so 4:3 letterboxed. But it's letterboxed with, the black bars being a little bit bigger than we're used to with letterboxed Clone Wars content because the aspect ratio of the actual video is smaller. Only on those clips though, the imagery is taller for, the framing stuff with Obi-Wan talking about these moves. But Anakin shows us, I took notes, a 2-handed basic attack and a 2-handed aggressive spin attack. Yeah, he shows us that, but then in the clips, it's really difficult to be able to say that, yeah, what they're showing in the clip actually matches the move that he just showed. It kind of seems more like they're just finding a BS way of just using some clips that may or may not really be related, presumably expecting kids not to pay attention. Then you have Asajj Ventress, who at this point is... let's see, that was 2008, 2009, 2009, 2010, 2010, 2011. So right around the same time that she is going rogue, we have him talking about how, I hope someday she changes her ways, or whatever. So Asajj, and yes, I just closed a window here, so the light may have just changed on you there, but it was starting to glare a little bit. Asajj shows off the dual saber attack with finishing thrust and the advanced windmill attack. And then we have a clone trooper, for some freaking reason, because it's supposed to be Force Tech training. So you think Force Tech is going to be, Jedi stuff. Nope. Blasters count too, I guess. So we have a clone trooper showing a basic rifle attack and a rifle attack using cover. Ooh. Cad Bane shows a quick draw and retreating defense attack. Obi-Wan shows a single-handed basic attack and a spinning jump attack. We have General Grievous showing a basic dual saber attack and a dual saber whirlwind attack. Rex then shows, that's Captain Rex, shows a basic double blaster attack and a double blaster attack with spin. And then we have Savage Opress showing a double-bladed attack with finishing thrust and double blades twirl attack with stab. And this is probably the most egregious example of how the video clips don't match what's actually being shown as an ability or as an attack, because the double-bladed attack with finishing thrust is Savage Opress showing it with a lightsaber in the little animatic type thing. Then it shows a clip of him using that blade that he got from the Night Sisters, that magical blade that's not a lightsaber, to kill the first couple of Jedi that he kills at the end of one of his first episodes. It makes no sense in context of the attack he's supposed to theoretically be showing in the clip. So the clips are very disjointed relative to everything else. But that's what it is, basically a clip show. So, it's a Asajj Ventress, Dathomirian, height this, weapon choice, dual lightsabers, blah, blah, blah. Here's the animatic showing you the ability with Obi-Wan talking over it, and then here's a clip that may or may not have any relation to what's actually being shown. Run that all together with 2 per character, you get a 15-minute stretch of program, basically. It's unique to this product. We haven't seen it re-released elsewhere from what I can tell, but it's also not something that should be, causing people a lot of excitement to go hunt down. It's just another weird little item being packaged in with a Star Wars toy. But for those of us who are Star Wars home video collectors in the US, who have been frustrated by the fact that there's so many friggin' lightsaber toys with this type of stuff in it, congratulations to us! There is another. Right? Force Tech Training in the 2011 Ultimate FX lightsaber packages. We'll be back next time with another package of something that includes a lightsaber that's really, really awesome, but isn't actually meant to be a toy, per se. One of our coolest screeners is coming up in the next episode. With that, we'll wrap up this episode. Thank you for watching, and may the Force be with the home video viewers.